The discovery of Breath of the Wild's adventure log as Link's own personal diary in Japanese has allowed us to explore so much more of who Link truly is. With Link's actual diary at hand, we're now able to tap into far more of Link's character than ever before. We're finally able to know the kind of thoughts that fill his mind, and to learn of so many emotions that he has kept from us. Just like how we can learn entirely new things about Link from his secret diary, we can also discover new things about other characters and how he feels about them. Join me as we uncover the secrets hidden within the Japanese version of Breath of the Wild that reveal exciting things about Link's childhood friend Mipha and how he feels about her. The fact that Mipha had feelings for Link is no secret. In Breath of the Wild, as soon as Link arrives at Zora's domain, he is granted an audience with the Zora King, who immediately recognizes Link as the same Hylian champion from 100 years ago. Although Link has lost his memory, he quickly learns that he and Mipha had a close relationship. Immediately after, he is given the Zora armor and learns from Sidon that Mipha had crafted it and intended on gifting it to him. The Zora armor is traditionally gifted by a Zora princess to their future husband. This means that, to the Zora, the gifting of the Zora armor is the same as proposing. Link also learns from reading Mipha's last diary entry that she had completed the Zora armor and hoped to give it to him. However, it seems that for some reason this didn't happen, and shortly after, tragically Mipha fell to Calamity Ganon. After Link receives his 100-year-late gift, Sidon tells Link that Mipha had feelings for him and had always kept him in her heart. After hearing those words, Link gazes upon the statue of Mipha. The moment he does, he recalls a memory of the time he spent with her. Out of all of the times he spent with Mipha, Link remembers this particular moment, which implies that this memory is especially important to him. After Link regains his memory of Mipha, Muzu and Sidon, who were standing next to him the whole time, notice that he seems a little out of it. Straight away, Sidon asks him if he is unwell, and even Muzu, who is in disapproval of Link, voices a hint of concern and tells him that he is quivering like a hatchling. Recalling Mipha and the time he spent together with her had quite literally shaken him, enough for Sidon to ask him if he is sick, and even enough for the neglecting Muzu to question Link on why he's trembling so much. Link explains that he has remembered Mipha and how much he meant to her. However, Muzu is still having none of it, and refuses Link's request for his help to stop the divine beast Vah-Ruta. Muzu disapproves of Link receiving the Zora armor, and he cannot trust that Mipha truly had feelings for Link before her passing 100 years ago. If we look at the adventure log at this point, just before equipping the Zora armor and initiating further conversation, we can see Link has updated his diary entry. In English, the adventure log serves as a kind of quest tracker that the player can use and refer to for quest information. Therefore, the text for all quests in the English version are written in the second person. However, if we load up the Japanese version of the game, all of the quests in the adventure log are written in the first person from Link's perspective. This is because, in the Japanese version, the adventure log is Link's own personal diary that he uses to keep track of his own adventure. What's more though, is that Link doesn't just record current events, but he also records his own thoughts and feelings on so many things that happen throughout his adventure, all of which have been altered drastically or are just completely absent in the English version. In English, all of the quests simply address the reader as you, changing the narrative to a second person. The quest Divine Beast Vah-Ruta is no different and tells you, the player, because you are a Hylian, Muzu refuses to help you and that you should try to prove that you are special to Mipha. Let's translate what Link has written in his diary for the Japanese version of this quest and see if we can uncover any insight into what he thinks of Mipha and the armor she gave him. I tried to convince Muzu, but he will not approve of a Hylian. Perhaps Muzu will cooperate with me if I can prove to him that I was Mipha's loved one. The Zora armor I have on hand is what Mipha made for me. Let's use this and see if I can prove it to him. The Japanese text is considerably different to the English version. It seems that Link was about to write a much longer sentence about the Zora armor he was given. It's impossible to know exactly what he was going to write here, but there's no doubt that he must have felt something after being given the armor and recalling his memory of Mipha. The most important section in this quest is where Link writes that he was Mipha's loved one. The word Link writes in Japanese is amoibito, which the English version translates simply as special. However, there is a little more to this word than simply meaning special. If you put this word into a Japanese to English dictionary, you get loved one, which is how I chose to translate it here. But you also get lover or sweetheart. After doing some more research on the word itself, I've come to the word's true meaning. The word amoibito does not necessarily imply mutual love. It can refer to someone you hold dearly, or even the feelings you have for someone that is one-sided. In the case where there is mutual love, sometimes it's just that fate, or an outside interference that's out of one's control, interrupts the possibility of the two people being able to truly connect to each other. Put simply, amoibito can refer to someone you love, but can't seem to connect with for some reason. Perhaps this could have some connection to when Sidon says Link could have been his brother-in-law if fate had panned out a little differently. Even the Zora King tells Link that he welcomed the idea of Link and Mipha becoming a married couple, and that it's a shame that they'd never had the chance to see what might have been. Link may very well feel the same way, which could be why he chose to write the way he did. It's not all tragic tales though, as we can uncover something quite touching about Mipha by jumping back to the memory Link recalls after gazing at the statue of her. This is a very intimate cutscene between Link and Mipha. It clearly shows how close they were. Nevertheless, there are also a few key differences between what Mipha says in the original Japanese version and English version of this cutscene that, in my opinion, adds way more to her character. In English, Mipha says to Link, "I was always willing to heal your wounds," which is the same as the Japanese version. That is until she concludes her sentence with, "even back then." In Japanese, instead of saying, "even back then," she actually tells Link straight up, "I was happy."
私、あなたの傷を治してあげられるの、嬉しかった。
Perhaps the most important part of the cutscene that has been altered is when Mipha says, "No matter when or how bad the wound, I hope you know that I will always protect you." Whereas we can translate what she says in Japanese to something like this, because no matter how many times and no matter what the wound may be, I want to protect you. The fact that Mipha explicitly expresses how she wants to protect Link no matter what is hugely important for one thing in particular, her champion ability, Mipha's Grace. Have you ever wondered why Sidon, a descendant of Mipha, is unable to use her healing powers? I mean, it would make sense if he could use healing magic, considering how the Goron Unibo is quite capable of using Daruk's power, so why can't Sidon use Mipha's? We can gain another clue to this mystery by analysing the Japanese version of Mipha's diary. There are multiple times where the English and Japanese version of her diary is a little different. In English, Mipha frequently says, "I must do what I can to help Link." However, in the Japanese version, she expresses, "I really do want to help Link." There are other occasions where her strong desire to do something has been translated as must in English. For example, she says, "If there is anything I can do to help, I must try. I must protect Hyrule." Compared to the Japanese version, Mipha writes, "If there's anything in my power that I can do, I want to do it. I want to protect everyone." Mipha has such a strong will and desire to protect Link and everyone. It's almost like protecting those close to her is her biggest wish and what she strives to do in her life, and that's because it is. Link obtains Mipha's grace after freeing Mipha's spirit from the divine beast Vararuta. From this point onwards, should Link take any damage that would otherwise kill him, in the blink of an eye, Mipha's grace will prevent that fate and save him. Link will recover all of his depleted hearts and gain extra. It goes without saying that Mipha's grace is an extraordinary ability. It's very powerful. When we take a look at what Mipha's grace is in Japanese, we can find something rather interesting. In Japanese, the literal translation for Mipha's grace is actually Mipha's prayer or Mipha's wish. This means that the reason Mipha is able to use her healing powers is because of her strong wish to protect, especially Link. In the cutscene just before the return of the Calamity in Breath of the Wild, Zelda is feeling pressured as she cannot awaken her powers. To help her, Mipha decides to share what goes through her mind when she uses her healing powers. Even though she's interrupted by Ganon's return, there's no doubt that her strong desire to protect everyone and Link is the source of her power. Mipha's wish continues to be fulfilled even after her death. Her wish is so strong that it can protect Link even from the bounds of the afterlife. As a player, every time I see Mipha's wish and see Link being blessed with a full recovery of his hearts, I feel happy knowing that her wish is being granted. What's more is that in the cutscene where Link meets Mipha's spirit, she expresses her happiness in being able to see Link again, knowing she can pass on her wish to him. This scene is also a touch different in Japanese. Let's take a look. The standard subtitles for the English voices are at the bottom, with my translated subtitles at the top.
昨日までずっと泣き続けてた魂だけになって、ここに囚われて、これから永遠に一人きりなんだって。 だけど今日あなたが救ってくれて、こうしてもう一度会えた。そしてこれからは私の力があなたの助けになれる。だからもう大丈夫。じゃあ行くね。私とルッタのお役目を果たさなきゃ。あなたがあの城でガノンと戦う時の援護、今度は失敗しないから。リンク、あの人を、姫様を助けてあげて。
After this, Link bids his farewell to Mipha's spirit, and he finds himself back at Zora's domain, and informs the Zora King what had happened. The English text for the Divine Beast Vah Ruta quest at this point is also written in the second person, and tells you that you told the king everything, and that you have earned Mipha's grace. Let's take a look at how this quest reads in Japanese. I reported the whole story up until now to King Dorephan. It seems that the seniors have also opened their hearts to me. I'm now able to put Mipha's wish, one of the hero's divine protection, into action. The divine beast Vah Ruta has enshrined itself and is waiting for when the time comes for the decisive battle with Calamity Ganon. Compared to the English version, which simply tells you that you have earned Mipha's grace, in Japanese, Link emphasizes that he now has the power to put Mipha's wish to good use, as that is what she would have wanted. Later, if Link talks to the Zora King once more, he asks Link about Mipha's fate. After Link tells him that he met Mipha's spirit, the king asks Link to promise to never forget Mipha. Link can then respond one of two different ways, by saying, "I'll never forget her," or "We are united now." In Japanese, one of these two dialogue choices could have been translated a little differently. Instead of "We are united now," the Japanese version reads as, "We will always be together." Personally, I feel that Link's words in the Japanese version are a little more intimate. Link is always being protected by Mipha, and he feels it. So, what else does Link think about Mipha? Well, there is actually a hidden diary entry where Link writes something he likes about her. As you might expect, this entry also does not exist in the English version. Let's take a look at the title screen of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. The camera slowly pans around Link, who is atop a Sheikah tower with Terrako. Upon hitting the continue button, the camera speed increases and gradually gets closer to Link. It's only for a brief moment, but if you look closely, you can see Link preparing to turn on his Sheikah slate. The moment he does, immediately the same map of Hyrule that Link can access on the Sheikah slate appears. As players, from this screen we can select characters and game modes we wish to play. What we can also do is complete challenges and quests. Looking at the quests in English, they all tell you, the player, what you need to do. However, just like how the Sheikah slate is actually Link's own diary in Breath of the Wild, the case is the same here, in Age of Calamity. This means that these quests have also been written by Link and can be read in the first person. What's even more interesting though, there is an entry specifically about Mipha. In the quest Lording a Champion, Link collects some luminous stones to use as decorations for the festival celebrating Mipha in becoming a champion. The completed entry for this quest in English tells us that Mipha seemed to glow in the light of the stones, and that she took one home to her living quarters. In Japanese, however, this quest is quite different. Illuminating in the light of the luminous stones, Mipha's figure was even more beautiful than usual. When the festival was finished, apparently she took the luminous stones home as a memento and decorated her room. It seems that Link thinks Mipha's appearance is really pretty. The luminous stones just amplified her beauty. I'm sure that if Mipha read this entry of Link's diary, it would definitely bring a smile to her face. Although we can't know for sure what Link truly feels for Mipha, one thing is certain, that they both deeply cared for each other. Personally, after discovering that the hefty number of hearts Link recovers when falling in battle is actually Mipha's own wish being granted each time, her champion ability has gained a whole new level of emotion for me. With Age of Calamity's questlog also functioning as Link's diary in Japanese, we can now explore Link's character even further than before. I'm so excited to share even more findings with you. What do you think? Has learning more about Mipha given you a new or deeper opinion of her? I'd love to hear your thoughts and what you would like to see next. For now though, that'll be all from me. I truly hope you enjoyed today's video, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time, see you soon!